Hey everybody, and welcome to another College Hacked Q&A video. I'm here with our chief advising coach, Dr. Lauren Daly, and we're going to answer some of your guys' questions. But I will say too that if you watch through this video, you will be given instructions at some point on how to enter into a raffle for a free consultation with us. Everybody who does that instruction that we're going to give in this video will get one entry, and we'll have an equal chance of getting a free opportunity to come and talk with Dr. Lauren Daly and get a plan built for how to graduate from college.
Yay, long overdue.
Yes. So that is coming, and it was an idea of somebody who commented, and we were like, okay, that's cool, let's do it. So first comment today comes from yours truly, Chris, who's actually a friend of mine. He says, this man went from roasting bad song lyrics to roasting bad online universities, referring to our recent video, the 7 worst online colleges to go to. And he very kindly says, you're a legend, Cliff. And I wouldn't have put this comment in, but I think you thought...
I thought it was amazing, and I thought it was credit where credit is due.
And the backstory there, I used to have, or I guess retired from another YouTube channel about song lyrics, what made them good and bad, and explaining them.
He's massively underselling the pop song professor. Go look it up.
Oh gosh, yeah. Antenna Flag 3288. First and foremost, just want to thank you for spreading awareness and providing insight on educational institutions. You're welcome. Secondly, I have a couple of questions. Can you explain the difference between 120s and 180 credit systems that universities use? And if it is, well, let's just start there. What's the difference between a 120 and a 180 credit system?
Yeah, quarter and semester credit hour divisions. I think... This is my personal opinion based on what I've seen. I think there's one of two reasons that schools usually go to a 180 credit hour system over 120. Either, like you've covered in previous videos, they're trying to disguise the fact that their per credit hour price is way too high. And so their per credit hour price can be lower if there are more credits. But the other thing I've seen is like at Purdue Global, I think that they are 180 because of the way that they subdivide their classes. So each class is 5 credits instead of 3, but each credit you get checked off on as you accomplish it. So it's like a learning objective almost, and so they're trying to almost gamify it so that they're leading you through the material and trying to help you stay motivated. That's what I think. Yeah,
so a school who does it right, it can be a lot more motivating to make it through because you constantly get to check those things off. And like you alluded to a second ago, 120 is considered a semester schedule because you have 3 semesters in the year, summer, fall, and spring. And then the 180 is the quarter system, and so you'd have like basically 4 semesters that are each like 3 months long typically. Is it beneficial in any way to go to a university that operates on a 180 credit system as long as they're pricing fairly? No, it's basically the same. Yeah. Also, would you recommend a Bachelor of Science in Health Science, or are they too broad of a major? I think Liberty and SNHU both have good ones.
WGU has a good one, actually.
There's nothing wrong with a broad major as long as that broad major helps you accomplish what you're targeting. You should always be picking that career or picking that grad school first before you pick a major, because you don't want to just pick a major because it sounds cool or because, people usually make money with this major. You want to be targeting your long-term goals first.
Yeah, be able to defend it for sure.
Aglahad says, Sophia credits are stupid easy. That's why, I think referring to why Sophia classes can be done so quickly. It's pretty pathetic that I can 2 semesters of college in 1 week. They know it cuts their money and cheapens their name. No decent... Oh, I think he's talking about why SNHU stopped using Sophia. Okay.
Yeah.
No decent regionally accredited schools take large amounts of Sophia credits. The partner schools are mostly trash. Interesting. So you chose this for a reason, Lauren. What are we wanting to talk about here?
Sometimes people leave comments that make me smile because they're just so far from the truth, or maybe they're along the right concept, but just veer throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I guess. And those just make me laugh because it's very all or nothing. So I think this is a good one to talk about, though, because it is so wrong, but a lot of people do really think that. So I know what I want to say about it, but what are your thoughts?
Oh, I would just say that it's about competency-based learning, right? Where you're saying, hey, I know enough to be able to pass this. And so with the Sophia course, passing a Sophia course is equivalent to knowing a C's level worth of knowledge in a college course. And this guy has never been a college professor, and I have. And I can tell you that a student who gets a C in a college class is probably putting in less work in some cases than what many of our clients are putting into a Sophia course. And they are less motivated, less hardworking, less attentive. So yeah, that's one part of it. Is that what you were going to target?
Yeah, actually, I love that you talked about that, because the thing I think of first and that I really wanted to comment on was that last sentence, which is the partner schools are mostly trash.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's pretty hard for me to accept that as being true when you have schools like Liberty University, who has a law school, a medical school, all kinds of extra
doctoral
accreditations.
Programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a large,
serious research
very
attempts.
successful school of 100,000 online students. So the fact that they fully accept Sophia is one of many reasons why I just think that this is a funny comment.
There's even like a Texas A&M
Yeah.
sub school, like Texas A&M Commerce, that will take Sophia's and take things like this and let you hack through it. I mean, most schools will take transfer credits, whether it's CLEP or Sophia or a combination thereof. This is kind of the way the world works.
It is, thankfully.
John Harrington 7270. One thing I think would be a wonderful topic is to talk about how the military accepts these degrees. I've been working towards my bachelor's so I can use my private pilot to get a career as an Air Force pilot. And we're actually working on some videos kind of focused on A, pilots, and B, veterans or future veterans, talking about that. And the military loves these kinds of degrees. I mean, the military, let's be honest, is not super picky from all I've seen when it comes to which kind of degrees they accept. But using one of these degrees to get into, OCS, becoming an officer that's not going to be a problem. Next question is Overmountain Mini 6724. Does College Hacked have a payment plan for the sessions? And I think this is more a question for me. And there's a pretty easy answer. And the fact is that we don't. Based on the kind of prices that people are paying for college, like thousands and thousands of dollars, it's not really, I think, something that most people need a payment plan when it comes to paying a few $100 for a session. Plus, the amount of money that we save people, the investment is very, very much worth it. Because say we only help you hack one class, and that class would have cost you $1,200 on average at a big online school, and then we're able to help you get that for free or for $50 or for $100, plus the cost of a few $100s for a session with us, you've already saved like twice your investment of what you've put in. So there is not, maybe in the future, but not for now.
I have people ask me all the time when we're going to raise our prices because they say we don't charge enough. So there you have it.
That's a devilish idea there. Candace3715. Hello, I have two questions. One, does UMPI let you transfer in more credits later on after an 8-week semester?
Yes.
Number two, if so, will they charge a fee for any additional transfer evaluations?
Not yet.
Not yet, but they might. It would probably be a good business move on their parts, but they are currently not doing that. Omega C 5589. WGU Business School Enrollment Department is horrible. They are the worst and don't care. On the flip side, the IT School Enrollment Department is 5-star and will give you an amazing experience. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a great one to talk about because this is kind of going to be true at any school, right? You call in, you get one of X amount of enrollment counselors or advisors, and they may or may not be very good at their job. And that's no diss on them. I used to be one, so I get it. Sometimes you are
You were good
new.
at your job, though, right?
Oh, thanks. Well, the first 6 months I was terrible, so I definitely... it takes some time to get up to speed, which is why we should all have grace with each other. But just realize if you call in and you don't get somebody great, maybe try calling back and don't just assume that the whole school is terrible or the whole department is terrible. And this is no diss on the commenter, but just in general, sometimes it's necessary to say, okay, thank you, and hang up and then just call back and try again with someone new.
That is really, really good advice. Yeah. Or, try calling on a weekend and maybe...
Different team.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Do you think they put their A team or their B team on weekends?
I think A team. It was that way for me for sure.
Okay.
The better I did, the more they put me on weekends. I was like,
wow.
good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. And at the same time, WGU does split up their departments and their schools pretty strongly. So you will be talking to a whole other team. And there's always a chance that there is poor training there. But I will say that the product you get with WGU, whether it's business or IT, is so valuable and so good. Yeah. It's worth dealing with a little bit of hassle from admissions.
It is.
Next question, Salty Forever, talking about UMPI, but they are so lame. They rushed me to get transcripts, then have sat on them for 3 weeks, missing the nearest term start, one person to handle the YourPace program, and they don't communicate at all. For all this effort, I hope the speed of getting the program won't be hindered by the slowness. Has anyone here in the comments enrolled for BS or the MS program, etc., etc.? This is a reasonable complaint. We've actually had a lot of people complain.
Yeah.
And if you had talked to UMPI 12 months ago, this wouldn't have been a problem. And I'm not going to spoil it, but we either have just posted or are just about to post the video explaining this exact issue with UMPI. So we're not going to go too much into depth with that. Either check out that video that came out last week or wait next week until it does come out. But we're gonna help you figure this problem out for sure. McKnight Light. I thought that college was impossible for me because of my busy life and work schedule, but this channel opened my eyes to a world I never knew about. I just finished my first course on Sophia in less than a week, and I am trucking along through algebra. Ooh, that's a scary one for a lot of people too.
It is.
I have been sharing your stuff to my friends because no one knows about these online alternatives.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really cool. And good on you. You've got this. See it through to the end. You can do this. You're already 1/40th of the way there, which that's the hardest 40th, okay? Agangramadi 6983. I have a question. Do grad schools will accept my bachelor's degree with large credits transferred from Sophia in my transcripts? Yeah, they will. I mean, there might be some schools that say, hey, we want to see like in-class labs. But we've helped people get into some very prestigious grad schools, whether in this company or in our last work, like at Liberty University when we were there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no problems there.
Definitely.
Dapper Platypus.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, Clifford and team. I just wanted to let you know that the attention your channel is getting can have an adverse effect on the colleges that you shout out here. UMPI appears to have 900 applications as they are a tiny college with a 5-person admissions team. It may be worth coming up with a strategy on how to mitigate the essentially a DDoS attack on these colleges. Love what you do and glad I found your account. UMPI has been great so far.
So awesome.
And yeah, this is kind of a spoiler for that other video that I mentioned. So we will get fully into detail on this. Sorry, UMPI, for sending you so many people. Jennifer Zorek 9403. I'm graduating from UMPI soon and could sport a college hacked pin. You really liked this idea.
I loved this idea. I thought it was so cute, and I would just love to see all of our clients marching across the stage with all their little pins on and little group family photo afterwards. Oh my goodness. I just went wild on that one. I thought that was so cute.
I feel like you put this in here to sort of like pressure me and to be like, Cliff, hey, we should do this.
100%. I'm really hoping.
Okay. Well, yeah, we
need some swag.
We need some swag. You're
wear
right.
Some shirts or something.
You just want like company shirts. You're like,
I do.
You want swag.
And also, I think that maybe we should have a competition and have people design us some like fun shirts or something, and just whether or not we make them, it would be fun to have like a little maybe in our Discord.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I like the idea of merch. If you guys have ideas for like slogans or pictures that we could put on a shirt or a mug
memes,
or
create
something.
us some memes.
Some
There's got to be
memes
some
would be
artists
cool.
out there who want to do caricatures of us. We reserve the right to reject all of your ideas, but we want to see them.
Lauren is asking for caricatures. I am not asking for caricatures.
I already know what mine's going to look like.
Say what?
I already know what mine's going to look like.
Okay.
My nose is going to be like...
All right. Well, we apparently know how to make Lauren happy. we make insulting pictures of her. Coits PNG 6378. How long did it take you to earn a PhD? And I'll let you answer this one first.
This one
or did you want to answer this one?
I thought twice about putting it in here because mine's not an exciting answer, but his is. Fun story. Me and Cliff and my mom actually all got our PhDs at the same time at the same school. And so I took the longest I think I actually took just about 4 years.
Oh.
Part of the reason for that, I will
that's
cut myself
a great time.
Thank you. I will cut myself a break because part of the reason it took a little bit longer is because I did an EDS at the same time that kind of rolled into the PhD. So I needed a few extra classes.
Oh my gosh, this was just a setup for a humble brag.
No, it wasn't.
My PhD took forever because I was getting another degree at the same time.
No, it was not at the same time. It just rolled into the PhD.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like I was doing 2 degrees at once. It's just that to get that other degree, I needed a few extra classes to confer that one before I rolled the rest of it into the PhD.
Okay, gotcha. You had to go and do that.
You would have done it at the same time.
But 4 years is still very good. Like
very
a lot of people will take up to 7 years. I think if you take longer than 7 years, you start to get into trouble. But like 6 years can be very reasonable as well. For me, I think I finished grad school and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do school for a minute. And then I got a faculty job and they said, hey, if you have a PhD, we'll pay you more. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go get a PhD then. And I think it was the summer of 2017. And I graduated probably like in under 3 years.
Yeah, under 3.
I think. Yeah, because the school would pay for a certain number of credits for me up to a certain amount per year. And I think it was like 18 credits. And it was a 60 credit degree. So that first year. I think I started in that summer, and I needed a couple of like prerequisites. So I earned like 18 that was the busiest semester of my life. Yeah. And then I think the next year I took another 18, started like using experience to get credit for a couple of more. And then after that, the next year after that, I think I wrapped up the PhD process or the dissertation process. So 4 years, that would be very reasonable and very good. Huggy68. For me, it's WGU. I work at Amazon and we have a career choice program and WGU on the list of schools. So I'm basically going to school for free, which is wonderful. You picked basically the best school you could have off of that list as far as I know. So
definitely. And shout out to Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's cool too. I buy lots of stuff there. Joseph Feniger 7488. I'm interested in taking the liberal studies with a minor in educational studies, Chipotle degree, as we talk about, and that's at UMPI. I currently have all of my general education completed. It says they accept 56 elective credits because remember, with those bachelor's of liberal studies degrees at UMPI, they have very large free electives, a very small major, and then just a generic general education. It says, if I'm understanding this correctly, can I just take random classes at Sophia and get all of my credits for electives?
Correct. Yeah. So that's really the beauty of the liberal studies system. Just don't forget that you need a minimum of 30 credits or 10 classes through the school.
Yeah, and with their liberal studies, you also have to have at least 30 credits as upper levels. 24.
Outside of the focus area. So they won't count
outside,
the ones.
So of your free electives, you need a lot of upper levels. Yeah. And there are a few Sophias that don't transfer through, but most of them do. So
highly recommend targeting the upper levels at the school. And then if you need more augmenting on study or Sophia.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. It's usually a lot more fun to take upper levels at the school because it's a little bit more involved, a little bit of longer process. You're getting it from an actual school, right? Not just study.com, which is great. But there's a little bit more of an experience there at the school. And so classes that you think you'll get more out of or you're more excited about, better to take at the school.
Yeah, and it gives you stuff to talk about in interviews as well. You can say, oh yeah, I remember when I did this project with this professor or what, if you ever are in a situation where you need to talk about your college experience.
Yeah, that is really great advice. That's an example of like thinking long term, like, okay, how does this help me in the future? How does each individual class strengthen my resume? Yeah. That's really good backwards planning. Eli Rabinovich. Nice. 3989. I think I nailed it. Yeah. Can you recommend an online school for nursing? If you've already got your RN, there are a lot of schools that will take you from RN to BSN. But if you're wanting to go straight from nothing to BSN and get your license and everything, WGU has a great online nursing program. Most of it's online. You do have to do some classes locally at hospitals or at different schools maybe, and they've negotiated contracts in many states across the country. So it won't work everywhere, but for a lot of people, for like probably 75% of the population, there's an option near where you live.
Yes. The only other thing I'll add to that is you should really check out your local hospital systems because sometimes they have RN programs. So if you're not an RN yet and you want to get that and then do the RN to BSN online, a lot of times it's much less expensive, sometimes even free because the hospital will contract with you. They'll essentially pay your tuition if you work for them for X amount of years afterwards or whatever, and then you pay it back over time. And you still get paid, obviously. But yeah, so look into hospital systems first, and then WG is a great option if not.
Yeah, that's really good. Kim QC2PP raffle for free consultation. That would be a good idea.
Hey!
We finally made it to the point that maybe you've been waiting for. If you comment on this video, we will enter you for a raffle to potentially get a free consultation. It's going to be just like one entry per person who comments, so you can't get more entries by commenting more, but we will put everybody in after about a week, I think. Yeah. We'll give it a week for people to comment, and then we'll pick one person to get it.
Are we picking them at random, or are they telling us their like sob story, or how should we do it?
Ooh, how do you want to do it?
I want sob stories.
Okay.
I love those.
Lauren wants you to cry while writing this comment.
Oh my goodness. No, I want you to make me cry. I want to be so touched. I
just want to feel something. Yeah. So let's do it that way then. If you want to tell us your story and why a consultation would be helpful for you, then we will look it over.
You don't have to do that, but since it's not a random picking, your odds are probably substantially better if it's compelling.
There you go. Yeah. And we just decided that too. So
on camera.
You can see there was a lot of forethought going into this. But yeah, we really want to help somebody who needs it. Hamid Khan TS. I am an international student. I live outside the U.S. I'm currently in Bangladesh. Could you please guide me with which online university is the best option to get a bachelor's program? I need a university which is both reasonable and affordable and quite hackable. Top 3 off the top of your head, go.
UMPI. Going to be number 1.
Okay.
I wish I could say WGU for number 2, but of course they don't do international students, except for apparently Canada. Maybe we've had
sometimes
some people say that. Yeah, sometimes, depending on what enrollment advisor you get, right? And then 3rd, Purdue.
Purdue. Yeah. Purdue Global is a good one.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really give a second.
I think you skipped second. Yeah. We'll just say SNHU is a good one. Ashuro Vimran. Hello. Tell me, please, is there a scholarship for online bachelors? Not typically. Some third-party sources might offer that. You can just like Google scholarship for adult learners or scholarship for adults, bachelor's degree, but honestly, there's not going to be a whole bunch.
My top 2 recommendations are scholarships.com and Scholly.com. Those two are awesome because they'll let you filter, tell them, they ask you everything about yourself, what's your nationality, what have you ever done in your whole entire life, and you fill out all this criteria, and then it matches you to scholarships that you qualify for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew there were some places like that, but I did not know that much about them. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Marcus the Iggy. Are they proctored exams at LUO?
No.
Not in their classes. If you do a CLEP test through their testing center,
Or an ICE.
or if you do an ICE exam online, then they will be proctored, but not the rest of it. Too many cactus. A unique problem. If I apply for financial aid and instead of taking classes, I CLEP out of those classes, can I keep that money?
Yes, you can.
Is that really true?
So the original, this is I'm going to hit you with some history here.
Okay. Yeah.
The original purpose of refunds from financial aid is actually to live on, because the original thought was, hey, if you're in school full time, you're probably not working, or you might have a family and it might prevent you from being able to go back to school. And so actually the reason that you get more aid typically than you need to cover your expenses for classes so you can get that refund and live off of it. So,
okay.
But the thought was, when that was all created, the people were going to do that responsibly. And as we know from recent, discussions in the news about forgiving student loans, this has become a huge problem. And it's because people are oftentimes living off of this money, not thinking about the fact that it is going to have to be paid back at some point. This is a game you have to play very carefully and think about the fact that the longer you wait to pay that back, the more interest you're accruing over time. So it is a pretty low interest rate, but it is also something that you just want to be aware of and not play with.
There you go. This is not money that you want to be buying Pokemon cards with.
No, or coffee.
Or coffee. Yeah, just some ramen.
Rent.
And some rent. And go get that bachelor's degree.
Quickly, yes.
And next question from Healthy Habits. Hi, can you recommend a free or cheap practice website for an international student wanting to prepare for the English for International Students exam? And this is a really good question, because everybody who comes from overseas to a U.S. college who's not from England or Australia or New Zealand or something, and comes from a country that doesn't speak English primarily, will have to take a English proficiency exam just to make sure that you're not going to drop out of all of your classes because you didn't know how to speak the language. And that is a really important thing to study for. Do we have any suggestions as to where to get these?
We do. So I think my top recommendation for this is study.com, because they have several prep courses and practice exams for really popular exams like the ACT, the SAT. They have TOEFL, which is one of those English exams. There's 4 or 5 really big ones now that a lot of schools will accept, but I still see TOEFL most often. Duolingo's up there now for most schools, which is
cute.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. But study.com is a great recommendation.
Yeah. All right. And our final question for today comes from Jaime Ortega. Want to spend a whole lot on something with $0 in return? Go to college. Lauren, what is going on with this comment? Somebody sounds a little bit angry.
Maybe this person's username should have been salty forever. I have to agree to disagree on this one. Someone with 4 different degrees, I do feel like they have massively benefited me in various ways, and really in ways that maybe I didn't even expect when I went through school, or that aren't directly related to the topic of the degree. But in general, I think that this is untrue. Also, I laughed really hard at the responses to this comment, because some people, it seems like, did a little bit of investigative work on our friend here and decided that he works in a trade of some kind. And so they came back and said, you're not going to be able to sustain working in your really physical job forever, so you might want to think about a college degree, which I thought was pretty accurate.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with trades. Trades are great. And some people in the trades make more than some people in college. In general, I think the average return on college is higher than the trades in general, but there are exceptions. And we looked up the math on this. According to the 2022 Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. Census, people with a high school diploma make $8.53 per week. That's the median earning. And people with a bachelor's degree make $14.32. That's a $600 difference. And the unemployment rate for high school diploma is 4% in 2022, whereas with bachelor's degree, it was 2.2%. So you want to do something with 0 return? It sounds to me like Jaime's maybe just mad that he didn't get the bachelor's degree.
Maybe.
And
Jaime, you can still get it. We'll help you.
Yeah. You could have one in 6 months. We'll get you there.
We'll get you there.
It'll totally work. But anyway, the college does have a serious significant return. And we did the math before, like, let's say you spent $15,000 and then you were able, after, you know, a little bit of work and a promotion, to start making $600 more per week as a result. It would only take you half a year to pay off that entire degree.
It's awesome.
Crazy. Mind blowing, right? You don't even need to take out loans for that.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It really is.
So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you want to enter into consideration for getting a free consultation, we'd love to hear your story and about how a College Hack consultation would improve your life. And then, you know, one of you folks who share that, we're excited to get to work with you and give you some strategies and a plan and help you pick a college and a major that'll get you there. Thank you so much for everybody who is, you know, writing these comments, even if they're a little bit salty, and for being part of this community. If you have questions for us to answer in a new video in the future, our next Q&A, go ahead and put that down below and we will take a look at those. Thanks, guys, and happy hacking.